Pennsylvania, coal, energy producing, but they're using coal, right? In Pennsylvania, there's 78 coal facilities, right? What I did is I looked on the map and I focused in on where we stand in relationship to that, and we're the pink spot on here. There's 17 in our quadrant, so our quadrant is east of State College, right, and north of 78. So 17, but 5 have been shut down or in the process of being shut down. So that leaves 12, right? They're in places like, and I'll name all of them, Frackville, Nesquehoning, McAdoo, Shenandoah, Marion Heights, Tremont, Northampton, Montour, York Haven, Spring Grove, and Chester. So does it make sense, if we want to lower our emissions, does it make sense to put a coal facility here in Jessup, Pennsylvania, when there is not a coal facility close to where we are? It would, to me, make more sense to put them down there, which would force those places out and not pollute Jessup. We're digging ourselves out of the pollution from the coal era. So does it make more sense? And that's a yes or no question. 5 minutes? Okay, thanks.
No, he still has a minute to go. I'm watching.
Why would they want him to speak
So,
more?
well, I'll just finish up with my question to Sunita and Mr. Kelly about, does this make economic sense for us? You know, the situation where all of these facilities are in towns that are in dire straits. So with your expertise, can you answer that? And what are the other companies that are going to move into the area positioned by one of these facilities? I hear there's 17, but I don't know who they are.
Thanks for not misinforming us.
I really can't answer that because I really honestly don't know. All I can do is look at the data and see where we were 5 years ago, where are we today?
I'm sorry, I thought they were experts. Which one are you?
Just one of the experts where our representative gets his information.
Where's Aunt waiting?
The last question, I'll start last. Questions.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I speak softly. What other companies are coming here? I talked briefly about Viteris. It's a hydroponic company. It's a startup company based on European technology where they grow hydroponic tomatoes. They want to be next to a power plant because they want to take the CO2 that's coming from the power plant to feed the vegetables. They want the heat from the power plant. They want the water from the power plant. And they're looking to do a symbiotic process where they put the greenhouses in very close proximity. Now, the company has walked through, has looked at the site, has talked to Invenergy, and they're seriously interested in it. Ben Franklin Partnerships have seeded this venture with $50,000 to get it started for the feasibilities and to help this thing along. And they've met with the governor's action team to see what can we do to get those type of businesses here. Because when you're putting 40 acres under glass, that's where you get jobs, full-time jobs. That's where I was talking within 3 to 5 years, at least 130 jobs. I don't have the rates right now of what they're paying, but it'd be agricultural type of jobs. It helps and it compounds some of the benefits that you see in addition to the initial 30-month period, which is huge spending, and the ongoing benefits that you see in the next 30 years afterwards. In terms of housing, I'm not a housing specialist, so I couldn't comment on that.
I was more interested in the high-tech jobs that I've been hearing about, the engineering and high-tech jobs that are moving into 12 companies that we're speculating about.
Yeah, who are the 12 companies? Why lie? Just say it.
I have to call the next speaker, unfortunately. Rick Schrader.
Why don't you call 3 names so we can line up and save some time?
Jeff Smith is up, because that's the way I was told to do it.
Here at 5 o'clock and you didn't call orange.
Jeff Smith,
is next, and then Ernest Limacelli is on deck.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Representative Farina for being here tonight. Appreciate you having this meeting so everyone can voice their opinions. I think there's one thing we can all agree upon here tonight, if nothing else. We all need electricity. I know that there's nothing worse to come home to a house of darkness and not having electric power there. There's been a lot that's been said here, and one of my questions is going to lead up to, I've heard a lot about the coal-fired plants, and obviously the gas plants being dramatically lower in the emissions. My question would be, I want to know if there's a schedule for shutting down the coal-fired plants that are in Pennsylvania. I know that there's going to be some federal restrictions on it. The impact that's going to have on the Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland grid that we're part of, and how that's going to affect the cost of electricity going into the future if we don't build some replacement plants, and where we're going to be at if we don't have adequate amount of electricity to suit our needs.
Let me take a stab at that, and then turn it over to these guys if they want to supplement. First of all, on the air pollution side of things, one of the points that I think needs to be made, and all of you can go to the DEP website and check this out for yourself, and that is that air pollution in this county is dropping. It has been dropping for some time, and also in Luzerne County, and one of the reasons is the replacement of coal plants. If you go to the Hunlock Station plant that UGI just did, where they upgraded it, went from coal to a plant very similar to what we're talking about here, they reduced the emissions 99%, literally 99%. So that is a huge accomplishment, and it's consistently bringing down the level of pollutants in northeastern Pennsylvania. And as this happens, more and more of this happens, the air is getting cleaner all the time. And you can see it. You can go on the DEP website, you can see it yourself. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free information. You can check it out by county. You can check it out by permittee. You can look at it over a period of years. You can see it all for yourself. See, in terms of electricity generation, this is a critical factor. And all you've got to do is look at what's happening in New England with both gas and electricity, the fact that they are running into shortages and brownouts and things like that. They are at high risk because they've taken a very NIMBY attitude in New England about not having new power. And it's absolutely critical that these issues be addressed, or you're going to have the same thing here. The reliability and the consistency of prices here is an extraordinary benefit to this project.
Thank you. The next question that I have is relevant to the jobs. I hear a lot of talk about the 30 jobs that are being created. There's also upwards of 600 construction jobs that will be created. And I can tell you that I have a lot of members that 2.5 years or 30-month span of employment would be the world to them and their families, for having a job or a family-sustaining wage and benefits where they could build up some of their necessary benefits that they need to support a family and to be in this area, and to have our apprentices work on these sites, I think would be a tremendous asset for the area. My question to maybe Invenergy would be, I know they're saying there could be a catalyst for future jobs, but how about trying to state for us what kind of upgrades there would be, what kind of annual maintenance there would be, what kind of shutdowns there would be on an annual basis that would also provide a number of jobs for us.
Mm-hmm.
So Rick, to answer your question, I mean, I think we've from a construction perspective, we've talked about 600 to 800 jobs during the construction period at the peak of construction. Those jobs, our contractor, and Adam, correct me if I got this wrong, but I think our contractor said that 80% of those jobs would come, from people within 30 to 40 minutes of the project site. So that's definitely people right here in Lackawanna County. As far as ongoing after operation, there are periodic maintenance activities that go on an annual basis. Each turbine is brought down for inspections. Those in that period of time, we bring workforce in for those jobs. Our main plant staff is focused on day-to-day operations. So there is also an influx of workers, temporary workers, a couple of times a year to take care of annual maintenance.
Let me just add something on the jobs too, because the jobs that this will involve on a construction standpoint are extremely important, because these are jobs that are going to last for over a period of 1.5 to 3 years, depending on how long it's stretched out for construction. And as a construction worker, I listened to at a rally back last year, spoke. He said, you know, when people talk about these being temporary jobs, he said, I've fed my family for 30 years on one temporary job after another. That's the way the construction industry works, and it pays $40,000 above the average for all Pennsylvanians. And the jobs for operating a plant like this pay as much as $70,000 above the Pennsylvania average. Those are the kind of jobs you're talking about here. They're very good.
Throwing the numbers around again, so I'm gonna have I'm back.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank the moderator. He's done a great job. This is a tough circumstance. I guess the question I have. Sorry. I guess the question I have is, what does it take to be on this panel? Who vetted this panel? Because I'm looking at these guys, and I see someone from B&F Environmental that was a sponsor of the Oil and Gas Awards in 2015. On the agenda, at the agenda.
First of all, it's our meeting.
No,
that's not true.
Well, you could respond.
Well, no, that is not my company that sponsors any awards. That name, my name is BF Environmental Consultancy. I did not sponsor any awards anywhere, period. Period, that's on the record. If
Jeff has it.
I didn't sponsor
How about
any awards.
GoMarcellashale.com that you're on?
I didn't sponsor any awards.
You're right on there.
Okay, he did not sponsor any award, but he might have sponsored the dinner. The first article is federal overreach. Then we look at changing the definition of water. This is a panel discussion. It goes on to talk about who trains first responders. This is the awards. This is the agenda. Here you go. Thank you. The next thing I have, I do. Thank you. Is Bernie McGill. I look at my Riverfest T-shirt and I see all the sponsors: Lindy Corporation, PG Water, PPNL, UG Gas. I've researched Lindy and your relationship. They love you, Bernie. They love you. Right off the roast. In April of 2010, you helped them secure a grant for $431,000 to clean up Leggett's Creek. The information that came out February 20th, 2012, there's missing grids. The mess is still there. They had to cut a pipe open to revive a dog, to get a dog out that fell in. Your quote was, "It's a lot better than it was." I think it would be best if it was developed. Scott Lindy owns 35 of the 55 acres that were cleaned up through the grant loan. So I'm just wondering who vetted this panel. I go on to look at the thermal impact. Oh no, I've got.
Can I respond to that?
I just have just before dusk. I'm going to the creek now. We have a cold water fishery and migrating fish that is affected there. It's a natural reproducing wild trout stream, correct? And there's a thermal impact that's going to come. And for people that don't know, 600,000 gallons of water, roughly if you have an acre lot, it'll be 2 feet deep. So imagine what that looks like going into a 4-foot wide creek. Your natural reproducing wild trout, you're not going to be there. As a fisherman, I would like to see something different there. The last thing I'm going to say is on the jobs. You guys can go up to your power plant at the PEI in Archibald, you can see the greenhouses. There's 17 of them. The windows are broken out, roofs are caving, trees are growing through them. It's a great photo op, Channel 16, more than welcome to go up there, it looked great. There's 17 greenhouses there, no jobs. It's the same thing they were sold in 1987. I know our council's brighter than that. So my question is, who vetted these guys to get them on the panel? And why wasn't there
First of all, I don't object to anyone disagreeing with me. I don't object to anyone cursing me at a meeting. I think, I don't know the lady with the purple shirt on. Your work was excellent. Now, this is on the record. Number one, I didn't sponsor any dinner. I've never sponsored an oil or gas event in my life. The only events again, I'm on the record. With the reporter's there, he finds it, we write a big story about it, why I lied. Okay? I'm on the record saying that. The only two events I sponsored is an energy event. 2009, I fully funded an alternative energy expo in Luzerne County. In 2010, I partially funded, in memory of my father, another energy expo. Those are the two energy events I've ever supported. The only energy programs I'm involved in where I go in, I am the one that goes in the program and talks about energy efficiency, alternate fuels, geothermal energy, etc. Now, if you can find that I funded that event, go ahead, get the reporter out, and we'll go one-on-one on that issue, but that is a lie and incorrect. Period on that issue, but I'm happy to debate that off the record, but I don't accept people taking my name going wrong. And that's not right, different company, not me.
Okay.
I'd like to say that I'm proud of the work that I've been doing for the last 28 years along the Lackawanna River throughout our community.
Yes, and I have too, Bernie.
I believe in reaching out to the community. I believe in working with everybody. People that agree with me and people that might not agree with me. All right? I don't make judgments about somebody until I have a long-time working relationship with them. And I like to encourage people to always do the right thing. I'm proud of the work that we did with Scott Lindy and his company on Leggett's Creek. That project's not finished. I want to see a development of 60 single-family homes built there. But the real estate market, really, it could use some improvement. It could use some improvement with some jobs for our community, some good family-sustaining jobs like this company is promising to bring in. So, I think you get things done by partnering. You get things done by not being judgmental. You get things done by sitting across the table, looking somebody in the eye, agreeing with what you can agree with them on, shaking hands and say, let's get some work done. Let's get this valley back in shape. Let's clean up the river, continue to clean up the river. We still have thousands of acres of abandoned mine land, and this project is going to be built on some abandoned mine land. We have abandoned mine land down below there along Grassy Island Creek that has a potential housing project. I want to see those projects go ahead because they're going to benefit the creek, they're going to benefit the river, and they're going to benefit the people who live in this community. And I don't like to see, I'm going to be judgmental. I don't like to see a lot of misinformation spread around and a lot of circus tactics be used to try to create an emotional situation when what we need is a deliberative and rational discussion about the issues.
We need experts.
He asked a question about trout. The gentleman that mentioned about trout and the 600,000 gallons of water that were going into the river. I believe it's closer to 400,000 gallons, but that's the answer right there.
They've always told us 6.
Fight better his own. Average is 4, peak is at 6. The trout are a cold water fishery. Last year, we had the lowest water levels on the Lackawanna since the United States Geologic Survey has been recording the water levels in the river.